Have you ever wondered why so many high achievers start their day with powerful affirmations? Let me tell you a story. Years ago, Olympic athletes began using a technique called self-declaration, essentially stating, "I am the best," even before they stepped onto the field. This isn't just a pep talk. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. Your brain literally rewires itself in response to your repeated beliefs. That's the setup. The idea that we're not just passive recipients of fate, but active creators of our reality. Now, you might be thinking, does saying I'm healthy or I'm wealthy really make a difference? The conflict comes when your old limiting beliefs battle these new declarations. But research from Stanford shows that repeated, emotionally charged affirmations activate the prefrontal cortex, the brain's action center. That's not magic. It's measurable. Let me dial it up. What happens when you say, "I am grounded and unshakable, even in challenge"? You lay the foundation for what psychologists call self-efficacy. Suddenly, you're not just hoping for success, wealth, or happiness. You're actively programming your subconscious to seek them out. When you declare, "Success flows to me easily," you begin to see opportunities you'd otherwise ignore. Think of it as tuning a radio. Your mind aligns with the frequency of abundance. So here's the first act. Your self-declaration isn't made of empty words. It's the opening move in the game of becoming who you're meant to be, putting your thoughts, beliefs, and actions into alignment with your highest self. Let's dive deeper. What if your beliefs aren't really yours? Cognitive behavioral therapists use the term schema, mental frameworks inherited from our families, our culture, and our past. The setup here is that most of us are living someone else's script. You might say, "I no longer think according to the past." But can you really erase decades of programming? Now, imagine standing at a crossroads. One path is the voice of yesterday, whispering doubts and limitations. The other is conscious decision, choosing what you believe rather than what you've been told. "I choose my thoughts" becomes your mantra, your act of rebellion against inertia. Here's the conflict. The mind, left untrained, defaults to old habits. But brain imaging shows that deliberate, repeated reframing, that's reinforcement learning in neuroscience, can literally override limiting beliefs. You choose which neural pathways grow stronger. Now you might be asking, isn't it arrogant to reject beliefs I didn't choose? No. It's self-mastery. You're acting on vision, not opinion. When you declare, "I am ruled by decision, by vision, by faith," you're stepping into the role of a conscious architect. The resolution: you become unshakable because your beliefs are built, not borrowed. That's how you transcend the influence of the past and set the stage for greatness. Let me ask, how often do you hear the phrase, "manifest your dreams," but see no action follow? The setup here is that intention alone isn't enough. We need what behavioral psychologists call an implementation intention, planning the how, not just the what. You say, "I am the man who attracts wealth through action and faith." That's not just wishful thinking. Studies on locus of control show that those who believe they can influence outcomes are more persistent and successful. Picture this. Each morning, you awaken the power within, and each evening, you seal your growth with gratitude. These are trigger habits, psychological cues that automate behavior, compounding your progress day by day. Now, some may object, but isn't this just a routine? Here's where the technical magic happens. When words, my words create, beliefs, my beliefs build, and habits, my habits manifest, are in sync, you enter a state of flow. In positive psychology, that's total immersion in purposeful action, and the results are exponential. So, the resolution is this: consistent, daily action transforms vision into reality. You don't just hope for wealth or happiness. You become the disciplined architect of your own abundance. Here's a tough question. Are you describing your life, or are you designing it? The setup is simple. Most people rehearse their fears and failures, broadcasting them as if they were destiny. But what if, instead, you declared only the identity you choose? This is where identity engineering comes in, a term from both psychology and technology. Instead of letting old habits dictate your future, you consciously program your mind. I speak the man I am becoming. But the conflict? The world pushes back. Your past wants to anchor you. Your old story wants to be repeated. People may even challenge your new declaration. Who do you think you are? Let me tell you, your mind, your voice, your habits, and your world obey the script you repeat. Neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP, shows that repeated self-description actually shifts your behavior and even your perception of reality. The takeaway: don't describe your fear. Don't rehearse your failure. Declare the person you choose to be, and let every facet of your life align with that vision. That's your path to transformation. Let S step back. What is the point of all this ambition if you lose your soul along the way? Spiritual synergy, the fusion of inner calm and outer purpose, is the next level. The setup: you declare, I am the architect of my reality, the vessel of divine power. Now, isn't it paradoxical to say you prosper without guilt, lead without pride, rise without limit? This is the conflict, balancing fierce ambition with humility and gratitude. In positive psychology, this is called self-transcendence, using your strengths for a purpose greater than yourself. Think about it. Wealth flows where your focus goes because attention activates the reticular activating system, filtering reality to match your goals. Gratitude, meanwhile, increases dopamine and reduces stress, creating the emotional environment for happiness to grow. Imagine you move with faith and build with love. This isn't just poetic. Neuroscience shows that faith, whether spiritual or in yourself, boosts resilience, and loving action increases oxytocin, the connection hormone. The resolution: you walk in light, speak in strength, move with faith, and build with love. That's not just balance, it's spiritual synergy, the ultimate fuel for lasting success, wealth, and happiness. So, what seals the deal? The setup: you've declared, believed, acted, and aligned. But unless you put a final seal, a ritual, or law, the mind can drift back to old default patterns. This is my declaration. This is my law. This is my becoming. Think of it as a digital signature in cybersecurity, an unforgeable stamp of authenticity that locks in your identity shift. Some might say, is that really necessary? Research in habit formation shows that rituals create psychological closure, reinforcing neural pathways to make the new identity stick. Let me paint a picture. Every morning, every night you repeat, and so it is, and so I am, and so I rise. That's your final act, a resolve that your new reality is non-negotiable. The resolution: you're not just hoping for success, wealth, or happiness. You've stamped it into your operating system. Now, go live it, with power, clarity, and faith. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, like this video and subscribe for more content on becoming the architect of your own reality. See you next time.